Hello everyone, my name is Aaron Ducote, and today I will be walking you through a Marvel Studios web application that I have developed. So here is a brief description on the project. The main aspect of the project uses the Marvel Developer Comics API to provide users information on different aspects of Marvel's comics. That includes details on characters, comics, events, and series. So the main purpose of this project is to provide this information in a creative and effective manner so that users can search for this information and find it in more creative ways than just a simple Google search. The way that this application is being developed is through React, and this is my code repository, which is currently public. Here are some steps that I took throughout the development process. So as far as programming languages goes, the application was developed with React, and it used different elements of HTML and JavaScript within the code files. And the styling for the web pages was done with emotion styling in file rather than using CSS. As far as deployment goes, the project is currently being deployed locally on my host machine using Vite. And as far as API calls go, API calls were made to the Marvel Developer API, and the information displayed on the pages comes directly from Marvel's API responses. So any information being displayed is directly from a Marvel API response. Here are some skills that I've developed through this project's development. For web development, I've gained more experience with many different aspects of web development and also how React applications are implemented. For styling, I've used common elements that are often used for styling web pages in pretty much any website you would see, including creating a nav bar and a search function. And this also includes in-file styling with emotion, which I mentioned earlier. For API calls, I've added some experience with making API calls, including matching MD5 hashes with my API keys and current timestamps so that I can authenticate API calls with the Marvel API. The main development blocker that I had throughout this project was that the Marvel API appears to be having some issues with making API calls at a decent speed right now, which makes searches take a bit longer than expected. It seems, based on some online searches, that this is an ongoing issue that's been going on for about a month or so, so hopefully that can be fixed in the near future. Here are some different technologies that I used for the project. I used Postman for testing my API call so that I could get the keys and hashes properly so that I could implement them into my programs. And I used Marvel's API documentation to see the JSON response bodies for different API calls so that I could see how to properly parse the information into the web pages. Here are some features that the web page provides. So for characters, comics, events, and series, the user is given the option to search for the title, and this is all provided by the Marvel API and through their search function. For characters, comics, and events, when you're viewing a list of characters, comics, or events, the user can click on any item to see more information about them, such as a short description and additional information. So for a character, you can see the different comics the character is in, and for a comic or event, you can see the characters that are actually in that comic or event. For the series, you can see which characters are in a series, and you can also see comics that are a part of that series as well. Next, I'll be giving a live demonstration of how the application works. So, since right now the API is taking a very long time to make responses, I've already predetermined some search results to show you guys. Here is a search that I've made for Marvel characters, matching the name Spider-Man. So as you can see, there are many different Spider-Man characters within the Marvel API. But if I were to click on any of these, such as Miles Morales Spider-Man, I can go to this next tab and see that when I'm viewing a single character, I can see that same name and picture as well as a short description. And if I go down to comics, I can see different comics that the character is in. So if I were to click Absolute Carnage Miles Morales #2 right here, I would be taken to this next screen, which shows information on the comic. So this is description of the comic right here, and this is also characters in the comic. In this specific one, there are only Carnage and that same Spider-Man Miles Morales that we were looking at here. Next, I will show searching for a Marvel comic. So same as with the characters, I've made a pre-search for Venom here, and I can scroll through these different results where I can see different comics with the name Venom. If I were to go and click on this Venom number 9 comic up here, I would see this screen, which shows a Venom comic with that same name and picture, a longer description, and once again, characters that are within that comic. If I were to search a Marvel Events, here I'm searching for the word Secret. I can see different results with the word Secret, so Secret Empire, Secret Invasion, and Secret Wars. So if I were to click on Secret Wars, I could see an individual event here with, once again, a description and name and title. And I can scroll down this list of characters that are inside of the event Secret Wars. Next, I would show searching for a series. So if I were to search for X-Men, you can see that there are definitely many different X-Men series within the Marvel API. And if I were to click on this one from 1991 to 2001, I can see this picture. There are unfortunately no descriptions for series in the Marvel API, but to replace that, as well as a list of characters, I can also see all of the comics that are part of this series. And if I were to click on one of these characters in this situation, if I were to click on Adam Warlock, I could go back and I could look at Adam Warlock's individual page within the API. So each different comic, series, event, and character has a unique ID that can be attached through this API, and that way, branching through any of these web pages, I can find different results and go to different characters and look at different comics. Overall, this is about all I currently have for the application, and I hope you guys enjoy.